Hello everyone. Welcome back to Listen Easy English. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about an extraordinary man who lived a long time ago, over 500 years ago. This man was not just any ordinary person. He was an incredible artist and thinker. He painted some of the most famous paintings in the world, studied birds to learn how to fly, and even imagined machines that didn't exist in his time. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. Did you know that Leonardo never finished school? Many people thought some of his ideas were strange or crazy. But today, everyone knows his name and admires his genius. If you enjoy learning English through stories like this, please subscribe to the channel. Your support really helps. Now, let's dive into Leonardo's amazing story. It all started on the 15th of April, 1452, in a small village called Vinci in Italy. A baby boy was born, and his name was Leonardo. His father was a wealthy man who worked as a notary, which means he wrote important documents. His mother was a simple woman from the village. Unfortunately, Leonardo did not grow up with his mother. Instead, he lived with his father and his father's family. From a young age, Leonardo was different from other children. While most kids went to school, Leonardo did not. In those days, schools taught subjects like Latin, mathematics, and religion. However, because Leonardo was born out of wedlock, meaning his parents were not married, he could not go to the best schools. This was a problem for him, but it didn't stop him from learning. Leonardo had a very curious mind. He loved to watch everything around him. He observed how trees moved in the wind, how birds flew in the sky, and how water flowed in rivers. He asked many questions, like, why do birds fly? How do rivers move? And why does the sun create shadows? Sometimes, his family did not understand his curiosity, but Leonardo never stopped asking questions and seeking answers. Leonardo also loved to draw. He would sketch animals, plants, and people. His father noticed his talent for drawing and thought, "My son has a special gift." So, he decided to take Leonardo to the city of Florence. Florence was a beautiful city, filled with artists, builders, and thinkers. It was a place where Leonardo's life would change forever. In 1466, Leonardo was about 14 years old when he arrived in Florence. His father took him to a workshop owned by a famous artist named Andrea del Verrocchio. Verrocchio was well known for his paintings and sculptures, and he taught young men how to become artists. Leonardo became one of his students. At the workshop, Leonardo learned many skills. He learned how to paint and mix colors. He learned how to cut stone and work with metal. He even learned how to design and build things. But Leonardo was not satisfied with just learning art. He wanted to know everything about the world around him. In addition to studying art, Leonardo studied the human body, animals, light, and shadow. He was determined to understand how everything worked. One day, while Verrocchio was painting a large picture of the baptism of Jesus, he asked Leonardo to help him by painting an angel in the corner. When Verrocchio saw Leonardo's angel, he was shocked. It was more beautiful than anything he had ever painted. Some people say that after that day, Verrocchio never painted again because he realized his student was more talented. But Leonardo's thirst for knowledge did not stop there. He began to visit hospitals to study dead bodies. This was considered strange and dangerous during his time. But Leonardo wanted to learn about the human body. He asked questions like, how do muscles work? And how does the heart pump blood? He made hundreds of drawings and wrote notes in his notebooks. Interestingly, he often wrote his notes backwards, from right to left. Some believe he did this to keep his ideas secret, while others think it was easier for him because he was left-handed. Leonardo stayed in Florence for many years. He became known as a talented artist, but he also gained a reputation for not finishing his work. He started many paintings, but never completed them. This was a problem for many people who wanted him to finish his projects. However, Leonardo's mind was always busy thinking of new ideas and learning new things. In the late 1480s, Leonardo moved to Milan, a city in northern Italy, where he worked for a powerful man, the Duke of Milan. The Duke wanted Leonardo to design weapons, buildings, and festivals, but Leonardo's mind was often elsewhere. He was fascinated by birds and the idea of flying. He would spend hours observing birds, studying how they moved their wings, turned in the air, and landed. He filled his notebooks with drawings of wings, feathers, and flying machines. Leonardo believed that if he understood the laws of nature, he could build a machine that could fly. He designed many flying machines. One of his designs had large wings made of wood and cloth, and a man would lie on the machine and move the wings with his arms and legs. Another design looked like a helicopter, with a big screw on top that would spin and lift the machine into the air. He even drew parachutes, gliders, and other strange machines. Although we don't know if any of these machines were ever built or tested, it's clear that Leonardo was thinking about flight hundreds of years before anyone else. Why did Leonardo want to fly so much? Perhaps he wanted freedom. Maybe he wanted to see the world from above. Or perhaps he wanted to prove that humans could achieve impossible things. Whatever the reason, the dream of flying never left him. While he was in Milan, Leonardo also worked on one of his most important paintings, called The Last Supper. This painting depicted Jesus and his 12 disciples at their final meal together. Leonardo worked on this painting for 3 years, and it was huge and beautiful. However, he used a new technique that was different from the traditional way of painting on wet plaster. Unfortunately, this method caused the painting to start breaking and fading quickly. Even today, The Last Supper is damaged, but it remains one of the most famous paintings in the world. Leonardo was not just a painter. He was also a scientist, engineer, and inventor. He had a wide range of interests. He studied anatomy, botany, geology, and even music. He wanted to know how everything worked, from the smallest details of the human body to the vastness of the sky. Leonardo kept detailed notebooks filled with sketches and observations. He would draw everything he saw, from the muscles of the human body to the way water flowed in rivers. His notebooks contained ideas for inventions, such as an armored vehicle, a flying machine, and even a scuba diving suit. These inventions were far ahead of his time, and many of them were not possible to create until centuries later. Leonardo da Vinci is often called the Renaissance man. This term describes someone who is skilled in many different areas. During the Renaissance, a time of great cultural and artistic growth in Europe, many people sought to understand the world and improve it through art, science, and exploration. Leonardo was a perfect example of this spirit. He was not just focused on art. He wanted to understand everything about life. He studied the human body by dissecting cadavers, which was not common or accepted during his time. He wanted to learn about how muscles worked, how the heart pumped blood, and how the body moved. His detailed drawings of human anatomy were revolutionary and helped future scientists and artists understand the human form better. In 1503, Leonardo returned to Florence, now at the age of 51. Although he was famous, he was also poor because he did not finish many projects and therefore did not earn much money. One day, a wealthy merchant named Francesco del Giocondo came to him with a request. He wanted Leonardo to paint a portrait of his wife, Lisa Gherardini. Leonardo agreed and began working on the painting. He painted a woman sitting with her hands folded, set against a mysterious landscape filled with mountains, rivers, and roads that seemed to go nowhere. But the most captivating part of the painting was Lisa's face. She had a soft, enigmatic smile, neither a big smile nor a sad face, but something in between. People gazed at the painting and wondered, is she happy? Is she sad? What is she thinking? Even today, people still ask these questions. Leonardo worked on this painting for years. Some say he spent 4 years on it, while others believe he worked on it for more than 10 years. He loved this painting so much that he never delivered it to Francesco del Giocondo. Instead, he carried it with him everywhere. This painting is known as the Mona Lisa, and today it is the most famous painting in the world. Millions of people visit the Louvre Museum in Paris every year just to see it. As Leonardo continued to work on his art, he also had many adventures. He traveled to different cities in Italy, including Venice, Rome, and Milan. Each city offered him new opportunities to meet other artists, thinkers, and inventors. He exchanged ideas with some of the greatest minds of his time. In Venice, he studied the way light reflected on water and how to paint it realistically. In Rome, he met famous artists like Michelangelo and Raphael. They discussed art, philosophy, and the world around them. These conversations inspired Leonardo to think even deeper about his work and his place in the world. Leonardo was not afraid of trying new things. He often experimented with different techniques in his paintings. He was known for using a method called sfumato, which means to evaporate like smoke. This technique allowed him to create soft transitions between colors and tones, giving his paintings a lifelike quality. The Mona Lisa is one of the best examples of this technique. While Leonardo was painting, the world around him was changing. There were wars, and cities fought against each other. Powerful families vied for control. Leonardo moved from city to city, working for different rulers and designing weapons, bridges, and buildings. However, he still struggled to finish many of his projects, and people began to call him unreliable. But Leonardo didn't care much about money or power. He was more interested in acquiring knowledge. In 1516, when Leonardo was 64 years old, he was tired. His right hand was paralyzed, and he could no longer paint. However, his mind remained sharp and full of ideas. The King of France, King Francis I, invited Leonardo to come to France. The king offered him a beautiful house near the royal palace, along with money and respect. Leonardo accepted the invitation and moved to a small town called Amboise in France. He brought his notebooks filled with thousands of pages of drawings, ideas, inventions, and questions. In France, Leonardo lived quietly. He spoke with the king, worked on his ideas, and reflected on his past paintings, including the Mona Lisa, which he still had with him. On the 2nd of May 1519, Leonardo passed away at the age of 67. Some stories say that King Francis was with him when he died, while others say he died peacefully in his bed. We may never know the exact details, but we do know that Leonardo's life was not easy. Leonardo was born outside of marriage, did not attend the best schools, and did not finish many of his works. Many people during his time thought he was unusual or strange. But despite these challenges, Leonardo never stopped learning. He never stopped asking questions. He never stopped dreaming. Leonardo da Vinci was not just an artist. He was also a scientist, inventor, engineer, and dreamer. He painted some of the most beautiful pictures in history and designed machines that were built long after his death. He studied the world with curiosity and love. Today, we remember him not because he was perfect, but because he never gave up trying. He never stopped wondering. Leonardo's influence on art and science is still felt today. His paintings, such as The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa, are celebrated around the world for their beauty and innovation. His scientific studies laid the groundwork for modern anatomy and engineering. Many of his sketches and ideas were not recognized until centuries later, when technology caught up with his vision. Artists and scientists continue to study his work and learn from his methods. His notebooks, filled with drawings and observations, inspire new generations of thinkers. The way he approached learning by observing, questioning, and experimenting encourages people to be curious and to seek knowledge. Leonardo was also known for his wise sayings. Some of his quotes reflect his thoughts on life, art, and learning. For example, he once said, "Learning never exhausts the mind." This quote encourages us to keep learning and exploring, no matter how old we are. Another famous quote is, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." This reminds us that sometimes the simplest ideas are the most powerful. Leonardo's words inspire us to think deeply and to appreciate the beauty in the world around us. He believed in the importance of creativity and imagination, which are essential for innovation and progress. Leonardo's life teaches us that imagination is a powerful tool. He used his imagination to create art and invent machines. He dreamed of flying long before airplanes existed. He envisioned underwater exploration before submarines were built. His ability to see beyond the present and imagine what could be is a lesson for all of us. Imagination allows us to dream big and to think outside the box. It helps us solve problems and come up with new ideas. Leonardo's life reminds us that with creativity and curiosity, we can achieve great things. Leonardo da Vinci was an extraordinary man whose life was filled with art, science, and curiosity. He faced many challenges, but never let them stop him from learning and dreaming. His legacy continues to inspire people around the world, reminding us of the importance of creativity, imagination, and the pursuit of knowledge. I hope you enjoyed this detailed story about the incredible life of Leonardo da Vinci. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to hear more stories in simple English. And let me know in the comments where you are watching from and which historical story you would like to hear next. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next story. Goodbye.